Hola, senor et senorita. Greetings, salutations on what is Boxing Day. Hello, Gary.
Boxing Day. How are you, young man?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm very... How's it, everybody? Nice to you all to join us today.
I'm so glad you left your grumpiness away there, Gary. Because when I got, when the limo dropped me off from transport today, Gary was in a production meeting, and I tell you what, you were a little bit grumpy with everybody, hey?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Believe you slept so well last night.
I had a brilliant sleep last night. Sat and stared at the ceiling until the early hours of this morning.
Have you worked out why, Gary?
No, not really.
Well, then you've got a problem, hey?
I do.
But Gary, I'm sure you'll survive, and you'll have a little teaspoon of cement, and you'll harden the hell up.
Have you got a spare packet in the boot of your
No,
transporter?
I've eaten everything. So it's Boxing Day, day after Christmas. If you like mathematics, it's the 26th. It's also episode 46 of Waved Yellow. We said that we were going to carry on through this holiday season, this season of love, joy and happiness and ho, 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 Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And we did. And for those of you who had a happy Christmas last day, yesterday, awesome. Gary, how's that sound going? We've got incredible feedback. There's some technology that is just absolutely amazing. So it's number 46. It's 11 days to go to Dakar, which I'm getting more and more excited about. We've had some interesting discussions with a number of people. There's all sorts of, shall I say, earth-shattering and moving news going on. And I'm not going to give any... There's news of ructions in the world of motorsport. But within the Dakar world, things are probably... it's probably a three-way fight, and then a spoilt brat who's come to claim some attention. You know how the kids yesterday, for those of you who might have been at family gatherings, there's always one kid who gets grumpy.
Yeah. Okay, I won't be grumpy anymore. Just sing
and I want you to
focus.
Look at me.
Just a quick one before you carry on. Terry Wilford, Ricky, John Craig, Graham, Francois Pretorius, welcome to the show.
But
Thanks for joining us.
What about the other 5,000 people who've logged in? Gary, I just see it's going absolutely crazy. So happy Boxing Day, ho, 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 ho. I love this time of year.
Graham Cooper wants to ask, do you oaks not do holidays? No, Graham.
Graham, some of us actually focus. We love motorsport so much that we thought that we'd share lovely news for you. It's a monumental occasion, Graham, if you get where... See what I did there? I did some stuff. So, Graham and I go back to a long, long time ago in a world far, far away where things were different, where men were men and sheep were scared. Right, so Dakar, you got a three-way fight coming up here, and you got the factory Peugeot. Oh, sorry, I mean the factory Peugeot of Sebastian Loeb.
Did you know?
Gary, we said, I know everything, but anyway, listen. We said, I've just got to, catering department has just arrived. So
enjoy.
Excuse me.
Enjoy. Thank you.
Because it's a holiday, and no, we don't do work.
This is the naughtiest show in the world. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Happiness is a cold beer with some friends. To give you a bit of background, this... at the beginning of this year, and for us this is quite a bit of a momentous occasion. At the beginning of this year, Grumpy and I were having a cool drink and decided to start doing Dakar stuff.
Tomorrow's our first birthday when we made that decision.
So, like I said, Grumpy was still grumpy then, and we had a few energy drinks, and we still at it. So
put it on the table and enjoy, bro. Christmas only comes once a year.
You know, what
does it say on there?
Do you know what's quite ironic?
What?
I mean, these oaks are doff. They say, check here, it's a castle. I've drank castle since I was about 12. But it says here, it says smash the label.
Boom.
Very proudly, they put a label on it to say, we haven't got a label. Woo! Loopy, loopy. Anyway, so cheers. For those of you at home, raise a bottle. So you've got the factory Peugeot with Sebi Loeb. I'm calling it a factory Peugeot because you can guarantee that there'll be this similar kind of Peugeot entourage.
Yeah.
They're calling it effectively, they say it's a privateer, but you know what they say. Then you've got the Toyota Gazoo racing cars. We know that by now. Bernard ten Brink, Janelle de Villiers, and NASA. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to be very exciting between the three of them. You've got Janelle, who, if you had to take your house and bet on somebody finishing Dakar, you would bet on
the
Janelle.
podium or in the top 10?
You would bet on Janelle finishing in the top 10, more than likely on the podium. I don't think nobody's done more podiums than Janelle. It's absolutely fantastic. He's won once. Of course, that was in the days of Touaregs, when his great enemy or nemesis or friend, Carlos the fastest, El Matador, bulled off the road and parked his Amarok at the bottom of a ditch. And when we say a ditch, it was a ditch big enough to hold a Dakar Amarok, which is F big. That's an official explanation. It's scientific. Remember, we like maths and science. And speaking of which, shout out to Ricky Bobby, because they were drinking or having a tasting session earlier
today.
Earlier in the day, I'm led to believe. So then you got the minis. And that's quite interesting. The minis have all gone buggy, and essentially have got all the guys from Peugeot who've learned all the tricks on how to make a buggy fast. And story is that when Carlos got into the car the first time and drove it, he said there was something wrong with the engine, and there's no power. And you know, in the Spanish way, there's no power. Turns out that the engine was perfect, but that's how much grunt the Peugeot has got. So who knows what many have learned and whether Qantas spent the money to get the power going, or they're going to play the rabbit and the hare game and send one of the cars out to put pressure on the Toyota and of course on Loeb. And then, so that's going to be a fascinating battle to see how they go. It's because you've now got the cars can be tuned more for the sand discipline. It's going to be very interesting. And then you've got the American Robbie Gordon coming across with two cars, with a Speed Energy car. So not only have you got the manufacturer battle, Gary, that cool drink was so nice. I can't tell you how nice it was. So not only have you got the manufacturer battle, you got the energy drink battle. So he's with a Speed Energy car.
So you got Speed Energy, we've got Red Bull,
and you got Monster.
And you got Monster.
And we've got Chiggins. So we're back at Mug and Bean in Broadacres in the garden, our outdoor studio. So a really great place. So Robbie Gordon, those cars are bright orange. They're going to run two of them. They're Textron cars in name. They're effectively the cars that run the Badger series in Merca. They've got super long suspension. It's going to be quite interesting to see how they do. So those are the things. My prediction.
Yeah.
Well,
be South African.
I really want.
We got three in there. And they're all capable of doing it.
I really want Toyota to win, because I think that with the amount of energy they've put into it, the time has come. They've got to do it. So I really would like that to happen.
Do you also know? I think we went there, but anyway.
But
that I mentioned the 40 years of Dakar. Did I? No. Yes. No. My mind's gone. What mind?
Gary, your mind, just wait, here's a tip. Your mind went a long time ago.
The boys in Ilmaries.
But it's okay.
The tribe in Ilmaries are watching. Lee Phillips.
Yeah.
Sheldon van der Linde. Calvin van der Linde. I'm just waiting for Mommy and Daddy to log on, then we got the whole tribes in town.
So why doesn't Lee go and get Glenn, and then we can have you can share some of the discussions, and you can, because in a discussion yesterday I might have said something that this is the question I asked was, is this last chance saloon for Toyota?
That was the day before when we have a very interesting interview which we can bring you guys during Dakar coming up next week.
With Robert.
With Robbie.
Robert Howie. We spent some... it was absolutely fascinating. And the thing with a lot of these talks is when the camera turns off, then the guys open up. So, Gary, what I think we need to do
We need to have a hidden camera.
we're going to have spy cam. So when they say things like, oh, well, you know, this and that, and the Gujamagata is not working with the Fribbler Magafta. Oh, and Kevin Knipe. Kevin is one of the crew in the Toyota Gazoo racing team, one of the finest guys, a naughty little boy. And I'll tell you a story with Kevin.
Just before you do that, Lee Phillips says, unfortunately, Glenn's already in the aeroplane on his way back to South Africa. So we couldn't get them on. But we've got Lee on, and he'll show up in the comments. So if you guys see the comments that Lee posts, feel free to comment on Lee's posts, and Lee will comment back. So that means I don't have to read them.
And as they say,
are we going for serious?
I need this because number one, it's Boxing Day, and I need to explain something technical. And a beer ends up being an absolutely fantastic prop. Did you hear that sound?
Guys, we promised we'd never do this, but
it's
Boxing Day comes around once a year. So, my friend,
it's like,
and to everybody else online that's wished it,
it's like the ugly chick. She also comes around once a year.
No, family show. Kids are watching.
Sheldon's not a kid anymore.
To everybody else online, Rob Precky, all you guys that wished us happy Christmas, Graham, Greg Jarman, all of you guys, cheers, yes, to Christmas. Hope you all had a great day yesterday. I hope you had a chill out day today. And I know some of you, like the rest of us, are back to work tomorrow. But those of you not, enjoy the rest of the holidays.
Ho, ho, ho. Right, so that's a little bit of Dakar. There's been the foundations around Kyalami have been rocking with the engine dyno at Toyota Motorsport going absolutely crazy. Anyway, so Kevin Knipe, just very quickly. He and I got asked to accompany a South American...
Was this when you were over there?
Policeman, yes.
You accompanied a South American policeman?
They asked quite nicely because...
Who was in the shackles? You, the policeman?
No, they just had... They only had 2 guns.
2 guns, and they asked you to hold one.
Because what happened was that... It's a hilarious story. So we arrive at this little town. I can't remember what the name it was. And... we've now got a convoy of cars coming through with the transporter, and we need to find, and it's like holiday time there. It's market night, so the market was open, the square was open, and
there's nowhere for these transport
and we need
to
to find parking. So I think, well, not a problem. I'll just stand in the road, and typical Joburg fashion. We grew up rough, and hola, señor, me no hablo español, but vamos. So they didn't quite like this. So you don't tell an Espanol to vamos, because I thought vamos was, please will you move just a little bit, but apparently it doesn't mean that. So we eventually get the convoy all in the street. Now it's a 3-lane street, and we're blocking off about 1.5 lanes, and long story short, the man arrives. And we knew he was the man because he was sitting in the back seat, and he had some Chinas with him, and they had big guns and dark glasses.
Is this like one of those South American cocaine deal things?
So somehow it was Kevin and I, and we get into and this is a true story. We get into the back of this, I think it was a Pajero. Now, I didn't want to say to them my understanding of what a Mitsubishi Pajero is in Espanol, but, because by now I was calling him Oh Great One. Turns out his name was Jesus anyway. So, so he says to us, now, there's a number of... Me no hablo español. Did I mention that?
Yes.
Okay. My español is really cuck. I mean, not so good. So we get in the back of this Pajero and off we go. And we're driving along, and it's starting to get dark. And I don't know where we are. And I take some photographs of what these guys look like, because now my mind is racing. Because the Dakar hasn't even started. I mean, the race hasn't started. We like 600 kilometers from the start of the race, and Kevin and I have been arrested, and we've got the whole the whole convoy of all the cars and the guys. It's hell of a funny now. So we drive, and it felt like Celine Dion. We were driving all night, and eventually we get to a place, and it turns out that the place they were taking us to was the bivouac for a stage that was about a week away. And this was...
Because you went out and came back to it, didn't you?
We went, so this was their place, their ideal parking place for our convoy.
Okay.
So, Kevin and I looked at each other and said, that time that we disappeared in the middle of the night in South America. So eventually we got back. So Kevin, happy birthday. And one day we'll sit down and reminisce. And that little hotel had overlooked a square. Mm-hmm. And there were these 3 guys spading 2 chicks. And they spent about, 3 hours trying to get lucky and feeding them all sorts of stuff. And anyway, when we woke up to leave at early o'clock in the morning, they were still there. And it was, it was funny. Right, so that's, we waffle.
Okay, just a quick one. To Greg Maloney, happy to you guys as well. Glad to see you guys enjoy yourselves on holiday there. Nigel Cole.
I saw some of the places that Greg was. And, well.
Yeah, it's like he's
nice.
become the biggest South African tourist, I must say. Thanks for the invite.
Thanks.
To Etienne van der Linde, nice of you having you on board. I know you're not in Mauritius, but wherever you are, I hope it's a good one. Andre Jabir, welcome. Nice to see you again. James Forbes, cheers, young man. Yes, at 2019 podiums, brother. Podiums.
There's a note here.
Yes.
About James and Fritz.
Yes.
But we'll get there. The purpose that we thought, instead of us just sitting and getting fatter, so
Speak for yourself.
Eating all the Christmas leftovers, and I tell you what, I had a magnificent day with family, and my daughter is so kind, and I have smoked gammon and potato salad.
Don't you eat that stuff? What are you doing? You rolled up into a little joint or something?
Gary, that stuff is so nice. I had it for supper last night, breakfast this morning, mid-morning snack, afternoon, then I fell asleep, then Gary panics and I was like, right. We decided, so number 46, and of course, what do you think this show is going to be? We're going to call it. The theme for today is Valentino.
Valentino?
So,
why Valentino?
Gary, if you can't work that out, then your doffness knows no bounds. But I know you've got it. You're just being facetious. So we decided we'd talk about
Michael
highlights.
You've got to be sitting somewhere in Strasbourg or something, but welcome to the show.
We thought that we'd talk about highlights, but then highlights, what happens if it's a low light, but it's significant?
Greg got it on the button. Bingo!
Of course he does. I mean, like...
VR46.
Yeah, well, that's one for the old guys.
Thanks for bailing me out of that one, Greg. Appreciate it.
So I decided let's talk about moments. And there have been many, many moments throughout the year, some for me, some for you. We discussed this earlier, that you were going to think about your moments, and hopefully they're not grumpy moments.
No.
So Gary, just, not your highlight. Let's leave the highlight to the end.
Two important moments. Really important moments.
Yeah. When the beers came really cold?
No, it was December 27 last year when you and I made the decision to do this.
Little did we know.
Yeah, and it's been an absolute joy since then. Thank you.
Is that a piece of dirt in your eye?
Yeah.
Or have your eyes just started watering, Gary? I rag him because he gets emotional. And it's actually touching. Brew.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No.
Right, moving along. So what's the other one?
Real highlights was our test in East London. Two moment-breaking highlights. That's what I mean. Not the ultimate highlight.
No, that wasn't a highlight. I mean, we're talking about moments. I mean, there can be
moments where we went out and we went on a limb.
When stuff happened.
And we started this, and now look where we are. In East London, we went out on a limb, got people involved in all sorts of things.
What Gary's talking about is East London was the first race that South African Endurance Championship, which features in my moments. And of course, production and research have had the week off because they're lazy bastards. So we had to do all the work ourselves, which, Gary, I'm thinking that we lean down the show and fire some of these fat cats and who just suck up resources and we just go it alone and become lean and mean like the true fighting machine that we are. So the moment it was, I've never seen somebody as tense and as grumpy and as Mashugana as this guy was leading up to the live broadcast of the event. And Greg Maloney, big shout out to you for the hard work and the magnificence of carrying. He's the kind of guy that he can carry the background and nothing phases him.
No.
And when he's like a duck, a very big duck.
Listen, when he's back in Joburg, I'm not standing in the way. Eh?
Calm on the top and pedaling like hell underneath.
Yeah.
So I've also got that. I've got East London live broadcast here. It was magnificent, particularly when Ian Schechter came and called us out because I had the audacity, or Greg or somebody said that...
Between us, we had the audacity to say that the record.
So Ian Schechter came and corrected us that he had the record.
That's also actually quite something.
But he didn't have a fastest lap.
No. I didn't realise that the likes of the calibers of the Ian Schechters, the Terence Marshes, and some of these other guys in town, the Gregs online, and people in Europe and people in Australia and all that, actually take care of what we do and actually put comments into our comment section and help us drive a show, and the show is driven on people's comments.
And we do have a prize.
Again?
I mean a real prize. Apart from Gary's leftover chip, we do have a... So that was East London. It was magnificent in that it suddenly brought live streaming of an endurance event, a South African endurance event. And Gary, some of the interesting things, the number of people who are watching, because you can check out who's watching, the numbers of it ties in very interestingly with some of the European races, and you watch a European race, I mean a proper Paul Ricard 24 and all that, and you see 224 people live online.
Or an Asia Le Mans series.
We did real good. Okay, so that was... Give us another one. Okay, so let me start. Let me start. I've got Angel did a Jesus in PE.
Which angel?
Well, the angels.
Okay. Well, I just want to know.
So I'll take you back to the 4-hour race.
One might be quite a difficult angel.
I'll take you back to it was a 4 hours at a 3 hour in PE.
4 hour.
4 hours in PE, resurfaced track, so it's a magnificent track. And cheap to go to, relatively. It's only like 5 figures that you've got to pay to it. And for those of you who enjoyed my rant a while ago, I got some comments. If you bitch and moan about paying a reasonable amount of money to go to a world-class facility, just harden up. That's why Kyalami costs so money. So if you want to race at Kyalami so badly, haul the money out, write the check, and it can happen.
Yeah.
Money makes the world go round.
So true.
It's a reality. So, Jesus, how does he tie into the angels? Yeah.
It is a religious weekend.
He made a comeback.
He did too, huh? Next year sometime.
Or was it Lazarus?
One of them.
Well, they both did.
I'm a bad preacher, so don't ask me that.
I was raised, I suppose I should know this. But look, there's no disrespect to anybody. But I've got Jesus, Angel, and PE. So PE track, magnificent. The tyres aren't wearing, and the yellow Autohouse Angel Ferrari is having a full-on go. Daddy Angel's in the car, and he's having the time of his life racing with his son. This is a momentous thing.
It was awesome.
So Chevy sweep, I think it's Chevy, where you got the left-hander, the quick one, where you breathe in. Long story short, they have a lamppost. Because they've got lights, and there's a mud of a lot of tyres around there.
It's about a 6 tire thing, 6 deep,
and about
protecting the
27 tyres. And Marcel managed to reverse the Porsche onto the back of this
Ferrari.
Ferrari.
Yeah.
Well, it looked like a Porsche.
When he came in, it looked like a Porsche. Yeah.
He put the Ferrari.
The Porsche going to go first with that one. Eh?
So we can smile about it now. At the time he came into the pits, that thing was FUBAR. It was proper FUBAR. Carbon fibre all over the place.
They even managed to rip the skin off the door and the rear quarter panel of the car. That whole skin was gone.
So
it was just
I looked at the thing and I thought, you got to park it. Anyway, they didn't park it. They lost a couple of laps. They then put Dane into it, and he just went out and punished that Ferrari.
Actually did some pretty good lap times, and that was getting into the dark. Eh?
Considering the condition that it was in,
and it was in the
magnificent.
dark by the time he got back out.
So that was one of my moments I'm not calling them highlights.
No, it's moments.
Because they're moments.
Just now.
Then the other one also goes down to, is it PE? No. Well, one of the moments was, you'll notice the T-shirt that we're wearing, Autobarn, was signing our first, well, our legal department tells me that they reviewed the contract and signed it, and finance tells me that it's all sorted.
Yeah.
So we signed a contract with a deal with Autobarn for sponsorship of the show. We have another one who is in serious negotiating, and we have another partner who wishes to remain undercover at the moment. Yeah. Not anonymous, because he's not anonymous. He is mega. He is a superstar. He knows who he is, and guys, welcome on board. It's a relief. It's quite great validation.
What's his space next
Molto
year?
grazie. Right, so then the other one was Nick Adcock and Michael Jensen. And they won in... Where did they win? Yeah, in the Ligier, but...
in East London.
In East London.
Yeah.
And there's a whole lot of thoughts around that. Mrs. Jensen getting nervous on the pit lane. And the fun part is she doesn't like to be on camera. And so we'd walk up and pretend that we were filming, and she'd have a panic and run away. And then Michael you walk into the pit and he see you come, because you want to ask him a question about what's going on. And then as he sees you walking, he bolts and does a runner, and then you've got to turn around and come this way and block him again. So that was a lot of fun. So they had a really good one. And then that was the race that the Angels won overall.
Yes.
So did you see how I brought the Angels neatly into the second moment? Gary, that's skill. I'm learning this.
I have another one, and it's a moment, and this moment happened nowhere near a racetrack, nothing else. I happened to be having a braai with some friends, and at the specific braai...
You've got friends?
Yeah, you and I have the same friends, now and then, differently. But at the specific braai, there was a lot of people over there, and it was mom, dad, son, and daughter that were there. And we were talking about all the things I did. I was actually with Terry Wilford. He invited me around for a braai, and we had a braai at his place and that sort of thing. So
thanks for the invite, Terry. Frickin' awesome. But there's big news with Terry, and
yes.
Apparently...
him and I have discussed that, and I'll go to you after the show, and we'll talk it on the 2nd. Okay? But hang on a second. This is where a youngster was racing, and Terry, if I'm wrong, please just put the things in, but I think he was in a Golf. And in our comment section, his mom came up and wrote over there, "Can't find my son." And you and I made a decision. We were running down, it was in PE, and you and I walked down this pit lane to go and look for him, and the son came walking out of the pit. And what had happened is the car had gone off and got stuck, and they'd brought it on through the tow truck, but not down the main pit. They brought it through the back of the pits in there, and that sort of thing. Terry, I need your help here, but I've forgotten a couple of names. So it came out, and suddenly I realized that the silly things that you and I have got up to this year, that people put a comment in there, and you and I are going, at a racetrack, we're going to find this, we're going to find that, we're going to do this, we're going to do that.
Sometimes it's not so silly. You know, it might be silly to you and I, or seem silly,
yeah,
but it's meaningful to some other people.
Because that's the whole idea about this interaction thing we do. So people ask us questions, interact with us, and we keep on trucking. Right.
More moments.
Yes, moments or...
No. We're coming to... Because I think that... What's that mean, Gary?
No, I was just...
Sorry, I need an update on his hand language, because sometimes the hands go and do stuff, and he gets like... And then he gets grumpy with me, because I don't know what the hell's going on. So, one of the other moments that was the consistency of the van der Linde brothers in their lap times, in the great work they did overseas. It is, I think that not many people actually understand and realize the complete impact that they are having on
the international motorsport scene.
That's what I was getting to, Gary, on the worldwide GT3. These kids are quick.
Yes.
And never mind quick, but consistently quick, and able to carry the speed through traffic, through different conditions, and maintain a very, very high speed with a very low delta in the lap time. So that was another moment. But I gather this meant that your battery's getting a bit flat. But that's your issue because you didn't charge it. And if you didn't charge it, then we go until it goes flat.
That meant 5, and that meant 2, which equals 7.
7, and this, and add 1 to it
means
and then you've got
6.
8 call 24/7. If you've got trouble, they will look after you, and that's just a plug to Nick. The other one, I've got only 2 to go, and then you can get back to resting and recovering from, because the biggest present that most people got yesterday was fat. So James Forbes and Fritz Kleinons.
That's not nice.
The run they
right behind one another like that.
The run they had in East London.
Yes.
Was quite phenomenal. So that was another moment. Just to see these guys plug away at it, and keep coming and doing really good things. That was great. But Gary, we both agree for once we have one highlight. So would you like to do it?
Yeah. It actually had nothing to do with you guys on tracks or anything like that, but we went to Gymkhana Grid. And Colin and I were walking to the pits, and you might have seen all the videos and that. We did behind the scenes stuff of Christopherson's VW, of that young Englishman and his ex-energy thing that... I think of his name now.
This means I'm letting Gary hang
yeah,
and dangle because no. But hold on, I was so excited because Kenny Block is there, and we're going to talk to Ken Block. But he didn't want to talk to us. He basically gave us a finger and hasta la vista. Vamos, senor.
So we get into. I mean, walk through a couple of other guys' pits, but eventually we get back to the Volkswagen pit with the WRX car. So it's Chris Christopherson's car.
Chris Christopherson, he brought his guitar out.
That's right.
It's Johan Christopherson.
Johan Christopherson. Mine's gone blank.
Peter Solberg. His mind is
right next to Peter Solberg is his son.
Oliver Solberg.
But we entered.
What car was Oliver in?
He was in a Citroen. An X-Load Citroen.
And what color was it?
Green.
So you did pay attention.
Yes. But we entered these pits through his son's thing, and then we eventually... Colin has a chat to somebody, and it happens to be Peter Solberg's wife.
But I didn't know that.
No, we only found this out the day after the event.
My version of it, she was the media chick that you had to get permission to go where you wanted to go.
So she said, yes, we can go and film, and Colin says, come here, look at the engine. They say no, so we get into Christopherson's car.
And you're not allowed to go on the inside of the car. Don't open anything she says.
So we found the door open.
It was just a little bit open, so
open enough for us to put a camera in. So we put that in,
and then the elbow just happened to bump.
And then we walk on around to Peter Solberg. We are looking at the suspension on Peter Solberg's car, and I said to Colin, I said, hang on a second, this one's got wheels on, the one next to us got no wheels on, and that was Christopherson's car. And him and I put the camera underneath this thing, and we described the whole suspension thing.
And they run a relatively stiff spring, but a really long 200 mil at least.
I mean, I promise you, this is the difference. If the car's in the air, the top of the tire is here, and that would be where the top of the fender is.
It must have half a meter of travel, because as this thing goes from full droop, and when the car lands, the first 250 mils is just damper, just slowing the thing down before spring takes the load. It's fascinating to...
So we finish all of this and we walk out of the pit, and we're about to turn out of the corner of my eye. I see Solberg standing there, and I bumped Colin and I said, let's go for that interview. And we walked straight to Peter Solberg. And guys, you've got to watch the interview online. But it's one of the best things happened to us in a long, long time. And all he said to us was...
There were 2 things that he said.
Yeah, no, the first thing was...
One is that you are very lucky to get your camera where it's been. Nobody in the world has got their camera there. So well done to our camera crew, and that was absolutely magnificent. And then the thing that I think has carried us through, and this will be the wrap for today, I think, Gary.
I think so,
if you don't mind, is that he said to us, guys, thank you for a great interview. I admire your passion. Keep it up. On that note, It's been passion and love for motorsport that's got us here.
Cheers, guys.
Keep your passion burning bright. Keep your love of motorsport burning bright. Have a great time, and we're going to see you next week, Wednesday, 6 o'clock. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot for watching, and wish, for those of you with family, have fun. For those of you without family, find some family and give them a hug. Cheers.